They laughed when she failed, whispered behind her back, said she wouldn't make it in life. One teacher told her, "You'll end up doing nothing. You can't even pass basic math." So she stopped trying, stopped dreaming, started working as a domestic helper to support her family. But what they didn't know was that failure taught her something no school ever could: empathy. One day, while cleaning a house, she overheard a boy struggling with reading. His parents had given up on him, but she sat down and helped. Every day after work, she taught that boy. Without books, without money, just with love and patience. That boy. He topped his board exams, and in every interview he said, "My teacher, she doesn't have a degree, but she gave me a future." Today, she runs a free learning center for underprivileged kids. Over 3,000 students have studied under her, and the teacher who once failed became the reason others succeeded. So next time someone calls you a failure, remember, marks don't measure your worth. Your actions do. Hit like if this story touched your heart. Subscribe for more powerful stories like this. And I'll see you tomorrow. The year was 2014, the place, Stelly. Among the chaos of cars and crowds, there was a young woman named Mina. She had just received her high school mark sheet. It was a sad, sorrowful report card. Most of her subjects were marked absent, and the ones that weren't had big red F's stamped on them, failing grades. She looked at them and felt defeated. Her classmates had done well, but not her. They would laugh and joke around, happy with their results. But Mina was too embarrassed to meet anyone's eyes. She had been mocked so much for being slow and stupid that she believed it. She went home and locked herself in her room. She was supposed to be going into 11th grade, but now she wasn't sure about anything. All she knew was that she didn't want to go to school again. Mina's parents were poor. Her dad drove an auto rickshaw, and her mom worked as a domestic helper. For them, education was the only way out of poverty. But Mina had failed 10th grade twice. In 2 years, she had been held back twice. So her parents thought maybe it was best she just quit. The next morning, Mina went to her parents and said, "Mom, Dad, I don't want to study anymore. I'm not good at it. I'll never amount to anything." Her mom hugged her, tears streaming down her face. "No, you will. You're a fighter. You'll be successful one day." But deep down, Mina knew that might not happen. She started working as a domestic helper, earning just enough to help her family. Each day she cleaned houses, did the dishes, and cooked food. But something inside her was missing. Education was her passion. Even though she struggled to learn, she loved school. She just wasn't good at it, so she kept studying on her own. At night, after a long day of work, she would sit down and study by the dim light of a kerosene lamp. One day, while cleaning the house of a wealthy family, she met a boy named Rahul. He was 10 years old. Mina asked him, "What are you doing?" "I'm trying to read, but I can't." He sounded frustrated, so Mina sat down beside him and asked him to read. "Can you read this word?" she asked. No, he replied, embarrassed. "It's okay. Let me teach you it." She began teaching him the alphabet, sounding out each letter. After a few minutes, he could read that word and more. "Wow, thank you," he said. "You're welcome. Now try reading this sentence." Mina was surprised to see that this kid couldn't read simple sentences. How is this possible? His parents must be so ignorant, she thought to herself. She asked him, "Do you go to school?" "Yes, but my teachers don't help me. They get angry when I can't read or write." "Oh, I'm sorry, don't worry. I'll help you become a great reader." And she did. Every day after school, Mina visited that house and taught that boy how to read and write. She used storybooks to make learning fun and engaging. Sometimes they would read together. Other times he would read to her. And slowly but surely, Rahul improved. Within a few months, he went from sounding out letters to writing full paragraphs. But then one day, Mina was shocked. She found Rahul's report card, and it had big red F's all over it. All the effort she had put in, all the hours she had spent teaching him, it seemed to have gone to waste. Disappointed and furious, she confronted his parents. "Why isn't he studying? Why aren't you making him study?" His parents shrugged. "We've hired a tutor. What more do you expect us to do? Your hired tutor is failing him. Look at his report card. If he fails again, we'll send him to a special school for slow learning. We don't want a failure for a son." They didn't care that Rahul was struggling. All they cared about was saving face. Hearing this, Mina felt terrible. She knew those parents weren't bad people. They just didn't know any better. No one had taught them about empathy or compassion. So Mina decided to do something about it. She took Rahul under her wing and promised him she would teach him until he became a great student. And she kept her promise. She taught him every day, sometimes until late at night. She made sure he understood every lesson and could answer every question. A few months later, Rahul took his board exams. He was nervous but also excited. He had worked hard and he knew it. When his results came, he was on cloud 9. He had passed with flying colors. He hugged Meena tightly. "Thank you, Meena. You're the best teacher a student could ask for." "You're welcome, Rahul. I'm just glad I could help you." And it was true. She wasn't a qualified teacher, but she had taught a failing student to become a topper. Rahul wasn't the only one. Soon, other children from that neighborhood started coming to Meena for help. At first, she tutored them in her free time. But as the number of students increased, she knew she needed to do something more. So she rented a small room and turned it into a school. She called it the Learning Center. There were no fancy desks or chairs, no projectors or whiteboards. But there was something more important: love. Meena loved teaching and her students loved learning. Over the years, Meena's school grew. More and more students joined her. Many of them were underprivileged. Some had learning disabilities and others had no one to teach them. But Meena didn't care. She taught them all for free. She believed that education was the key to success, and she wanted her students to have a better life. Today, Meena's school has helped over 3,000 underprivileged children get an education. Many of them have gone on to do great things. Some are doctors, some are engineers, and some are teachers themselves. But they all agree on one thing: Meena is the best teacher they ever had. Sure, she wasn't qualified, but she taught them things no textbook could. She taught them the value of hard work, the power of dreams, and most importantly, she taught them to believe in themselves. And as for the people who had laughed at Meena when she failed, they soon realized that failing grades didn't define her. Her actions did. So next time someone calls you a failure, remember, marks don't measure your worth. Your actions do. Did this story inspire you? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, hit like to stay updated. And I'll see you tomorrow.